There we go. So, so today we have a little bit of a different, well, kind of like more or less focusing and kind of going back to the last few topics of discussion and learning about everyone's story, right? So there was a bit of an incentive. So those of you guys that, whether you want to come on and talk about your story, maybe some of your ups and downs, what got you through. So when you're starting to see those roadblocks and you start to question, why did I choose this as a career path, and what got you bounced back to being motivated and back into the game, or just, you know, what keeps you just going on a daily basis. So understanding your whys and, you know, some of the background information. So whether you guys, some of you may feel comfortable talking, and we can definitely bring you on so that you can share your stories and can have conversations around that. Some of you may feel comfortable just writing something. Maybe you already have it written and you just copy paste it and throw it in the chat or the Q&A. We can have a discussion about that. But what we wanted to do is, add a little bit of incentive to that, because, you know, being on the spot isn't always everyone's favorite thing to do. So Tara has graciously, offered to do a one-on-one session with those. You know, we're going to do a draw for those individuals that do participate to, you know, be eligible for that session with her to go over your needs and your leads and your real estate story, and, you know, things that you may be struggling with, you know, just in that one session to kind of get you on a different track or a different mindset altogether.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Perfect. So, you know, I got in the business in 1991. You know, my real estate story was pretty, nothing special. You know, I thought I was always interested in real estate, but, you know, an agent saw me, the agent that, you know, sold us our home, and said, you know, you'd be really good. Have you ever thought about working for me? And, you know, lo and behold, I entered into the real estate field and, you know, had my first son. And then I became an assistant for many, many years. And that's what got my foot in the door. I felt, after being an administrator and running so many different agents' offices and their businesses, I felt the next step was clearly to get my license, when I thought that my children would be old enough for me to be able to do the hours that I saw the different agents that I was working for do. And I felt like I had all the knowledge in the world entering and now getting my license. The only thing I didn't do for the 13 years that I worked as an administrator for many different realtors was I couldn't list houses. I couldn't show houses. I typed all the offers. I did everything, but I couldn't present the offers. And I'm telling you, when I entered into this business, what I neglected to think was how realtors really never have a day off. And my phone kept going off, and I kept missing all kinds of events that my children needed. Every dinner we had planned out, I was paged back then. Paged. You know, and I started realizing how much more difficult it was to be the realtor. I thought it was, you know, because I was a great assistant. I ran everything for my realtors. I did it all. But what I didn't have was the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday nights, the Tuesday nights, the this and that. So I think it's really easy for all of us to say it's a really great business, and it is. But it is a very challenging business, which is why, Crystal, we always talk about keeping that mindset and your why first and foremost. And so that's why this session was going to be so much different, because I think for us to benefit together as a group, we got to share each other's stories, because it ain't glory. It is not all balloons and popsicles. It is the hardest job I've ever done in my life. And every day, I cry when I'm busy and I cry when I'm not busy. Every day I'm thinking about real estate. So what is it that you guys can offer back to us? What is your story? And don't be afraid to speak up, because
Yeah.
I think we all learn from each other. Oh, we got a Ziegler.
Okay.
All right, let's do her.
All right, so we'll do Nikki Staney. So Nikki Staney, we're going to allow you to talk here. I'm going to track our stuff here on the side here.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Tara. How are you?
I'm so good. Picture is so pretty.
Oh, thank you. I don't see myself, but that's okay. Thank you. I wasn't quite ready for the camera, so I just put my picture up there.
Hey,
Okay.
I've been in corporate world for over 25 years. I did many jobs, like you said, you've been in administrative job in real estate. I wish I had done that before I jumped into this career. But I had enough with the 9 to 5. I needed flexibility. I needed to be my own boss. I mean, at some points I did have supervisory roles. So I talked to many different types of professionals in the field. So the last job, when I left the display industry in the retail division, I decided that I'm going to choose my own hours. I'm going to choose my own clients, and I'm going to be the boss of my own business. Which I'm not regretting so far. I am loving it. Even though there are ups and downs, I'm still enjoying it. Yes, there are sad moments when the deals don't go through, or the buyers walk away, or you have to convince multiple for sale by owners and they are still not ready to list with you. But all of that kind of rewards itself when you are motivated that you are going to make a better life for yourself one day, which gives me, it's like an incentive for myself, because I know I can drive my kids to different places. I can schedule my calendar according to their needs, and I can have flexible time and income. So that's
Wow.
my story. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
So what a beautiful why.
Yes.
So why don't you now re-emphasize your why? I heard it loud and clear, but just to make sure everybody else did.
My why is the freedom of having flexibility of time and income. I mean, I can be as busy as I want, but I also have time for my kids, and I can plan time for myself.
Right, right. So what do you do? Because one of my challenges, and every personality is different, is, you can get busy, you take on a lot of clients, especially when you're converting the agent locator leads, and you can pick your nose for 2 weeks, and then the next week you've got 10 leads that want to see houses. What do you do when it comes to the point where this is your time that you've set aside with your kids? Maybe they're going to baseball and somebody wants to see houses. How do you make that work?
I did join a team, so we are a team of 3 right now, and we collaborate. Sometimes we do have to ask favors from another person, and the commission split is different, depends on each deal. So it's not really restricted in a sense that I do allow myself, if I need to, I can have time off just because I can schedule ahead of time. And I don't always let the clients decide which time they have, for like which time I allow them to have of my calendar. I give them time. I give them 3 options,
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. And yes, it was hard when the houses were selling fast, but it is a little bit easier now because we have more choices. We have more time choices and property choices.
Yeah, yeah. First, that is phenomenal. Crystal, she did an amazing job. Make sure
Oh,
she
absolutely.
entered into our draw. My epic fail is my own personal issues. I'm a high D as well as a high S if you do the disc profile, and it is difficult for me to say no when it comes to my business. Now, Austin Baylis is on this webinar once again. And as a mom, he can tell you it's very easy for me to say no. Like, well, you always said no to me when I wanted extra chocolate. But it was hard for me to learn how to leverage, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me way too many years. And yes, did I reap the rewards of working 7 days a week, selling 50, 55 houses a year? Yeah, sure. That's really great. But when I had stage 4 cancer and when I was going into my last surgery, and my sons were in the room just before I went in to have my lymph nodes operated on, I remember looking at my oldest and I remember thinking, I regret I missed your drum solo recital because I was on a listing appointment. I remember thinking that. I regret that I missed that because it took me way too long to learn the boundaries. These are the times I'm available. Can you make it work? And if you can't, leverage to another agent to fill in. That's why we have buyer's agents and we're on teams. And you know what? If you're in a great brokerage, anybody would have your back if you needed somebody to show to you.
Definitely.
So bravo, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest things for a lot of individuals is setting boundaries. It's a very difficult because we're always, feeling that we're going to miss out on an opportunity, or we're going to, we're people pleasers, a lot of us, right? We're in this industry to help people. And when we don't want to be letting them down because we can't do something that they want to do. So we're often yes people, yes. So it's great that, Nikki, you provide 3 separate times for them to choose from rather than them telling you what time to show up at.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we also have Ziegler.
Yeah. So Ziegler, if you want to talk, you're on the floor now.
There you go. Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Good. And you?
Welcome.
Thank you. So my journey in real estate started off way back in 2006, actually. A little bit of background about myself. I come from a different industry and you're going to wow about it. But so I came from being a pastry chef at the Four Seasons Hotel.
Watering.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I was pretty much up there in the pastry world. I competed, took part in competitions, won bronze and silver medals. And it was one day when my daughter was pretty young, my youngest daughter. I've got 2 daughters. My elder one is 24, younger one is 22. My elder one is special needs. There's about, when we got to know, there were about 7 known cases in the world. Now there's about 100. So that was my journey. And my daughter came and asked me one day. It was the 26th because I was always working on the 25th of December. 26th of December, she comes to me and we were opening Christmas gifts and said, "Daddy, is it Christmas yet today?" And I said, "Yes, baby." And it kind of hit me and like, geez, what am I doing with myself? I need to get something different. So I got out of that and got into the world of sales. Sold for 10 years with different companies, selling bakery ingredients. So I covered anywhere from, in that 10-year span, anywhere from Windsor going all the way down to Ottawa with different companies, going all the way up to Casino-Rama. So I know Southwestern Ontario pretty well. Having said that, one of my friends who was a realtor, and he said, "Zig, listen, man, what are you doing?" I said, "What's up?" So "What are you busting your chops for a paycheck?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Look, you're so good at what you do. Why don't you get your license and start selling?" I said, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." And the work pressure was too much. And I gave it a shot in 2006. I did phase 1, got out of it. So I just can't do it. It's just too much going on with the family and stuff like that. And then phase 2, I said, no, I can't do it. And then I dropped off. Then in, I think it was in 2011, I got back in the game. I got licensed in 2012 and started off from there. And when I started off, my first ever listing was a commercial listing. Was one of my clients, he wanted to sell his cooking school in Richmond Hill. And yeah, Go ahead.
What a great fit.
Yeah. So I started off from there on, doing commercial businesses. I do a lot of businesses now. But challenge is, we keep that balance going between commercial and residential. I love the residential game because it's quick, it's easy, it's slam dunk, sort of, if you want to call it. For me, it is, at least, because commercial is much more complicated, much more intense. A lot of variables that could go wrong. In fact, I just negotiated with another Collier's agent. He snatched one of my agents and said, "Look, buddy, you're kind of crossing the line." He said, "Let's settle on something." I said, "Okay." So we settled, and I'm taking 60% of the commission. He's taking 40% of it. Yeah. So that's been my story. So the challenge, the why is, basically my daughter. We need to provide for her. And then one of my whys was to, when I get into real estate, I'll make a little bit of money. We'll go open up a pastry shop. That, of course, has gone through the wind. Don't intend on doing that anymore. But yeah, it's just to, provide for the family. And, I'm no big shot agent, just a simple guy, just trying to provide for the family. And that's it,
Yeah. Have you ever looked back, going from, what clearly you were amazing at as a pastry chef? Do you ever regret your decision?
No, never.
Never. Right. And I bet that's because you've already reaped the benefits of what real estate has done for your why.
That's exactly it.
Right. So what do you do when it comes to leveraging? Because clearly you changed an entire career for the sake of your children, right? And what you were going through. What do you do for leverage when you can't be in two places at the same time?
It's pretty simple. I said, look, I love to take you out, but my calendar's full up. I've already committed to somebody else. And I've committed to my kids. I've committed to something else. Unless it's really, really bad, but I really need to be there, then I'll talk to the family and say, "Guys, this is what, 26,000 or 10,000 or 15,000. I really got to go. Can I make it up to you again?" But over the years, yes, we're all guilty of it, of pushing our families away. But then as time goes by, my daughters have said, "Dad, come on. We said we were going to do this. What happens if you're already booked with another client?" And I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right." And I said, "Hey, you know what? That's a great thing to say. Look, I'm already booked up. Sorry."
Yeah. And that's the one thing, like I said, going back, it took me way too many years to figure that out. And then I was at the point where now this was, I was in fear for my life because of my cancer and having regrets about that. So when I learned was, I always say, "I'm sorry, I'm already booked." I never say, I'm on holidays, or I never say I'm in Mexico or whatever. I just say, "I'm sorry, I'm booked up," but I do have backup. So that's amazing. I think that we all benefit from Nikki and Ziegler's stories, right? And you know what? You don't have to be the best of the best. Be best for what you want for your why. I think we all can fall into real estate, can be very competitive, I guess. I've been in this field, since 1991. I've seen agents brag. I've seen agents go from very little to a lot. I've seen agents grow way too quickly, and also get way too arrogant. And I will tell you, sorry, my phone was ringing. There's always going to be ups and downs. You can do 50 deals one year, you're only do 20 deals the next, or you might only do 5. So are we ready to hear from other people? This is so exciting for me.
Absolutely. Real estate. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, let's share one more thing. There's something what I always keep in mind is never forget where you came from, because you'll forget where you really want to go.
Wow.
And that's powerful. And that's very, very important. We all start small. No one was born, big shot or golden spoon and whatever you want to call it, right? So never forget where you came from, because you'll forget where you really want to go. And that's something, it's very important, because it kind of humbles you down and say, "You know what, someone's having a bad day. Why don't we step in and say, let me sort of help you out?" Or someone's having a great day. Congratulations. right? The moment you add value to somebody else, you feel that sense of satisfaction and kind of brings everything together. I don't know, that's just my thing. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be sorry. I think it's phenomenal. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's easy, not even just for realtors, it's easy as a human to get caught up in the material, right? And real estate
Mhm.
can provide a great living for our why. It really can. But I also know my experience has been as quick as you get it, you can also lose it. And at the end of the day, all we can do as realtors is be ethical, work as hard as we can for our why, and be good with what we've accomplished, because tomorrow it can all be gone,
Mhm.
right? So going back, and I don't want to talk about my cancer repeatedly, but I was walking around a healthy human. It literally was one day I went to the doctor because of something. I felt fine. And a week later, I found out I had stage 4 cancer. So, just do the best work you can, but know tomorrow, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're the top, this or that. What matters is that you provided a good life for what your why is,
Mhm.
right? So I think, am I right, Crystal? Priyanka was the next one to say they wanted to share. I think it was Priyanka.
Me, or if it's you? Am I?
Oh, I
Frozen?
can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Priyanka is next.
Okay.
Who's telling me my internet's unstable. I just gotta find her on my list here. Kind of going into what you were saying, I actually watched a very, you get these motivational clips that pop up in your reels on Facebook all the time. And the one guy, his one thing that always kept him going was his dad. His dad was an alcoholic, and he finally gave up the bottle. And as a young boy, he asked his dad, said, "Dad, are you going to stop drinking?" He's like, "Well, for at least one more day." Right? So one more day, for one more day at least. And so he's always held that for everything in his life. If you always just think just one more day, right? So if you're feeling defeated, let's just give it one more day. Just give it one more day. And that's how he got. And now he's like, he's built his enterprise just by using that little thing. So it's just one step at a time, one more day, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Right. So so when we are feeling defeated, you could just say, just give it one more day. Give it one more day.
We gotta say that every day sometimes, I think.
I know, right? It's like, hey, just one more day. One more day.
You got this. All right.
Awesome. Okay, Priyanka, you are on the floor. You just got to unmute yourself there. Perfect.
Thanks, Crystal. Hi, Tara. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this discussion. Great story, Nan Ziegler. So I come from a very different background. I have a PhD in biotechnology, and I've always been into research. I immigrated to Canada, oh my God, it's 12 years back, me and my husband. I worked at University of Toronto as a researcher, and then life happened. I was expecting our first baby, and unfortunately, we lost at the time of the delivery.
Oh my gosh.
So that was an experience I would never ever want any parent to go through. Life was very hard on us, and we were here alone, no family support, losing a child and in a new country. So it was very, very hard. But we had no choice to just go back. I started my work at University of Toronto again, and kind of getting through. Me and my husband went into a cocoon, stopped talking to everybody, and it was very, very hard. But then we were lucky to have, again expecting, and I was on bed rest when I was expecting my son, and I had to quit my work. I had to quit my profession, everything. Then we were lucky. I gave birth to my son in 2012, and everything went well. we did not tell anybody about our pregnancy, and we revealed when we had our son in our arms. So that was the best thing we could have ever asked for. And now he's 10. And after 1.5, 2 years, I had my daughter. She's 8 now. And I told my husband, I want to my kids, I want to be with them, because I got them with lots and lots of hurdles and losses. So we were not, very big in the mortgage or anything. We had just one small apartment in Brampton, and we were living good. And my husband was working full time, and I went with my kids to all the libraries, to all the excursions, everything till my son started going to school. So I really thank God for giving me that opportunity to be with my kids. And then we moved to another city, Waterloo, and I went into sales and research consulting company, working again from 8 to 6. My son went to the after school program, and my daughter was in the daycare. She was just 1.5. And I said, no, it's not working for us. I'll have to take a step. They need me more than anything. Running here and there was not working. And honestly, I was not making tons of money. And it was not worth just giving that my kids growing up away. So I stepped back. I said, no, I want to be with them for some more years. They need me. And I quit my job again. And I sold apartment in Brampton when I did not have any license. I did the staging, I did everything, but did the advertising, and had a buyer realtor come in and bring a deal. So then I thought, okay, let me try something if it works. I'm good with people. I am easy to talk to. I'm interested in real estate, but I was not sure I wanted, because I do a sales background. I took my license and I started working in real estate in 2019. As I said, I'm not good in sales, but most of the sphere of influence who I have worked with in last 2 to 3 years, they have been great. Now I'm to agent locator to get online leads to expand my business. And I would really love to have this opportunity to ask all the experienced agents in the forum to just give the tips to a new agent who has no sales background to how to scale it, go to the next level. And my kids are the story, and it's a big why. But now what I'm struggling with is that most of the work is in the evenings or the weekend, and my kids need me the most. So I'm now trying to figure out how can I, leverage the time, technology, and build my business. So I need a lot of help from everybody here to just give me the ideas. How can I scale up my business with no sales background?
Right. Okay. And are you at your brokerage a solo, an independent agent?
Yes, I'm an independent.
Okay. And your availability to do real estate, do you find most evenings it's very difficult for you with the kids?
Not all the evenings, but
Okay.
sometimes, yes, I am available. Like, I'm all available if I have to do anything in the daytime during the day. But yes, I'm available in the evenings also. Yeah. But I don't have too many clients to work with, honestly.
But you want more, right?
I do.
Yeah, and this is the double-edged sword, and I'm not the only one speaking here. So if anybody else wants to share and answer the questions, please. But this is the double-edged sword with real estate is, we all get in it to provide a better life. And the problem is that with our cell phones, we are so accessible all the time. Now, I mean, she's got a huge why, and if she can't run and show houses, in my opinion, what you need to do is you need to do one of two things. You have to have a backup buddy at your brokerage. And you have to be prepared that if somebody is going to fill in for you and help you with showings, that you're either this is just out of the top of my head, pay them as a showing agent, or be prepared to do a commission split with them if they're going to help you with some of the showings. Your second thing, I think, Priyanka, is, is joining a team in your brokerage a possibility for you. And if so, maybe what you might want to do is talk to your manager or your broker of record and get some recommendations within your brokerage of where you can have backup.
So the team means that you will, like, what does the team mean? That you work together with the leads or converting? Like, how does that work? I've never worked in a team.
Yeah, every team works differently. So, most teams are an agent that does buy a lot of pay-per-click leads, probably with Agent Locator. And then if you're on that team, there's going to be a commission split for the deals that you do with the team leader. And most team leaders will supply the Agent Locator leads. Now, every team is different, but I think first and foremost is you've got the leads and you're working to start converting them, and you will eventually convert them. But if you can't be available to show some of these people, you have to have a backup system in place, whether that's a buddy in your brokerage or exploring the avenue to join a team. Does anybody else have any advice for her?
I've not still come up with the Agent Locator leads to the point of showing. It's more like
Not
follow up
yet,
right now. No.
but you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine's,
And
yeah.
really, when you're working leads, you don't want to be a sales agent,
That's true.
because the leads don't want to be sold to, right? So you're more customer service at that point, which matches a lot of what you're saying about your personality, right? So it's when we start trying to sell our leads that we find we encounter the resistance, right? Whereas if you're just trying to help them and they don't, feel that you are selling them something or trying to encourage them to do something they're not ready for, that's when you're going to get that resistance, right? So it is a blessing that you do have no sales experience, because your brain isn't triggered that way, whereas a lot of people go straight for the sales approach, right? And that's exactly what you leads don't want. But again, it's learning how to take the cues of how do I switch this now from a conversation to an appointment, right? And that's where Tara is saying, if you join a team, that team is going to support you, not only with being able to pick up showings if you're not available, right? So you might be available in the day when they're not available, and vice versa, things like that. But they're also going to guide you, and you're going to learn a lot of how this team got from being a solo agent to a top performing team, and all kind of the background stuff that they're doing to get to where they got to be. So it's definitely a huge advantage to do that. It can be challenging for some individuals, just depending on your personality type, probably your disc type as well. Because it's hard for some to kind of put aside that they're now working for somebody else, and they're not necessarily like representing themselves in the transaction, they're representing a team. So that can be a challenge for some, but it's where you're going to learn a ton of information, skill sets, and they're going to support you. So if you're having, a problem, you collaborate with the team, and everyone's out for everyone's success, right? The team grows together. There's no one person pulling the team.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's worth you just having the conversation with your manager of your office or your broker of record, and just seeing if they can recommend some options for you. And you are going to convert the Agent Locator leads. There's no doubt about it. The leads right now, I'm getting a really great response to the drip campaigns. I also created, just an update before we share with other people, I created an email to send out if somebody has liked a property 3 times or has favored a property. So we're doing that manually, because I'm all about, I want to go in, I want to take a look. And even we're 1 week in, less than 1 week, I think I'm 6 days in of using this email, and I've already had 2 of the leads book showings with me. Just from saying, hey, I noticed that you like this property 3 times, you know, do you want to take a look at it? It's a pretty simple email. So I'm continuing to explore different ways to continue to get people in the car, because it is a really tough transition right now with leads, because nobody really understands what's going on in the market, and we're still trying to kind of get our bearings, but it certainly has been pretty successful so far. So there's Lucy.
Lucy, you're on the floor now. I see you had your hand up.
Yep. Are you there, Lucy?
Gotta unmute yourself. You just have to unmute yourself if you're muted. Maybe she went to take a coffee break.
She went. Okay, let's bring Gloria in.
Sorry about that. Hi.
Oh, there's Lucy.
There
There she is.
And the computer froze, so my mouse froze and I couldn't unmute myself.
Oh no.
But, so I accidentally hit the unmute. Sorry about that. The hand.
No worries. Did you want to share your story or no?
I'll pass this time.
You'll pass this time? Okay, not a problem. Not a problem.
Shame on you.
I know.
Let me tell you
I'm
something.
not prepared for it. I'm not, yeah. Sorry about that.
Lucy is a phenomenal realtor.
Lucy, sorry?
Lucy is a phenomenal realtor.
Oh,
She
thank you.
has a zeal and a zest for this business. Lucy is a realtor that is constantly reevaluating what she's doing and what's working and not working. And you are a wealth of information to share, because we all benefit from you. She is a phenomenal agent and her work ethic is incredible. And she's got a massive why. Am I right?
Yeah, you are. Thank you so much for the kind words. That was really, really nice. I know my big why is, okay, you know what? I'll open up. The thing is that, I got married young, had kids young, and, spent my whole time like raising them and I did bookkeeping previous to this. But then when I reached my mid 40s, I felt like I needed to do something for me, because we had some tragic in our family. I lost my mom and I had to take care of my grandmother. But, so that I had to focus on that. And then when I reached my mid 40s, I was like, I felt like there was something missing for me, because I gave out so much to the family and the kids that I felt like, I wanted something for me and accomplish. Like I felt like I didn't accomplish anything. So I was going through that. You could call it midlife crisis. I don't know. But it was a hard time. And, it's so this is where I want to be proud of myself. And this is my why. So I want to work hard and because now I'm in my 50s. So I really want to work hard and towards something. And where I'm struggling now, it's the market change is fine. It's just being that consistent, because when the market did change, my clients, I found a lot of people because fear. So they put everything on hold because of fear, because of what the media is saying and everything else. So that part I'm struggling with, but you know what, you got to pick yourself up and just keep going. And that's what I'm doing now. So back on track and being consistent, being out there, making sure that, your funnel is full of leads and you're always working, right? Because it's so easy to stop. It's so easy to not have that momentum, that mindset. It's so easy to go downwards instead of keeping yourself up all the time. But
what Lucy and I have done together, and this might have, you can maybe testify to this, is, we talked about this, I think 2 or 3 webinars ago about time blocking and opening up Agent Locator and, you know, working the pillars of our business. And Lucy and I spent some time kind of going over what her pillars were and are, and then kind of figuring out a business plan to work each pillar. Because unless you have that kind of written down, even on a piece of paper, we forget, like we lose, right? It's too easy for us to go, you know what, I'm out today, right?
Exactly.
And do you feel that that kind of helped you a little bit redirect?
Absolutely. I went back to that folder where we had all that information, and that's where I went back and said, okay, this is where I had to, let's focus on this. And these were our points, right, of business.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And she was getting out doing some door knocking while she was walking her dog. Like Lucy really just said, you know, just like we all have to do, this really just falls on me. There is no deal tree I can stand under. And on a windy day, you know, I'm now going to do 20 deals. And that's what we're always trying to incorporate. Are we not, Crystal, that we have to be the ones within ourselves to dig as deep as we can to be able to do the work and to follow our plans, to know that the leads will buy something. I'm constantly reevaluating what I'm doing. I'm constantly, because this is what I signed up for. I'm constantly saying to myself, okay, if this isn't working, do I need to change A? And I'm going to tell you what I've done. Now, I'm not sharing this with a lot of people, but this is what I started doing. I teach a class here at our neighborhood because I'm also the manager. So I teach a class which is designated for new people coming out of Humber. It's called our Pathfinders course. So, you know what, I'm teaching a lot of the brand new realtors in the field, and I'm trying to get them to understand how they need a business plan. We need time blocking. And being in real estate, you know, is something you got to work on your business to work in your business. The door knocking, the follow-up, the this, the that. And part of our course talks about daily affirmations. You know, do you say to yourself, I know my why. I know I can do it. I can make this happen. Do you say it and do you believe it? So I started about 10 days ago, every day, just saying, I am good enough. I am. You know, doesn't matter what your background is. I could tell you the horrific childhood I had. It's neither here nor there, but even somebody that is successful at converting leads still needs to believe they can do it. And honestly, saying it out loud as I'm driving from my new beautiful home to my Durham region office every day, because now I got a little bit commute, I just start saying I can do it. And I actually feel better.
I think it's a lot of things in life where we tend to hold it in and you don't actually speak or hear the words. So just being able to say it out loud, and it could be in anything, whether you're saying it to yourself or to somebody else, it just expels all this energy that is pent up, and it gives you that confidence as well, right? Just saying and, you know, hearing it, not just thinking it, you're actually hearing it, and it has a different impact on our perception of those thoughts. You know, putting it into words.
Yeah. And I think going forward in my coaching program, I think going forward in the business plan that I have for my team, I talked to Nick today about this. You know, just saying, I want every day, whenever that day is, just say how good you are and just put it out there, because what a better way to start the day than us confirming to ourselves, we can do this. We can, right? How does everybody else feel? Does anybody else want to share?
Sure, I'll take a shot at that. I just want to highlight what Tara just said. You know, for me personally, I know I have a lot going on in terms of skills and stuff like that. But sometimes we get lost in so much of nonsense in our lives, and we tend to run ourselves down, say, I can't do this, I cannot do this. And I began to think back for myself personally and say, what skills do I have? So I looked at myself. By the way, I still keep in touch with my pastry chef skills. So when I sell a home, I go make a cake for them and I say thank you.
Can you sell my house?
And trust me, satisfaction guaranteed on that cake. That much I can assure you. So, you know, I always go back to myself. Look, I've got skills. I'm good at what I do. I'm better than average. So I should not run myself down. I think I'm good. I think I'm good at what I do, and I can make people happy and make myself happy. And in the bargain, I earn a living. So that's my thing.
Wow. Yeah.
If you love what you do and you're great at it, and you give yourself the affirmation that you are, then everything's just easy. You
Absolutely.
just, you know, every day is, you know, great to wake up and start your day. And who can I make happy today?
Yep.
Right. And he probably gets repeat business because they get his cake and then they want another one.
Well, actually, I just used space for my pharmacist. His wife is also a pharmacist, and she wanted to lease a new spot in Brampton, and I leased her a spot for 10 years. I still haven't got paid on it because these guys take a different approach to get paid. So I'll only get paid once they open up and these guys are in business, then they'll basically release the funds. But she sent me a $50 Starbucks card. And I'm like, no, I cannot accept it. So I had to make a cake on Saturday for my nephew who just finished his MBA. And I'm like, you know what? I got to give her a cake. So I just said, let me do another strawberry shortcake. And I went to her house and I gave it to her. Her husband was there and she said, thank you, Ziegler, so much. It was so good, so good. I've never eaten cake like that. I said, you're always welcome. No problem. Anytime. Just send me some more referrals.
Yeah, that could be your incentive, you know, for every referral that transacts, get another cake.
Yeah. I'm very jealous. Let me tell you something. My people do not get bakery from me. That's for sure.
Well, listen, I mean, I've done a mango Charlotte. I gave her a strawberry shortcake with fresh strawberries and fresh cream. So it's 35% fresh cream. It's not your shaving foam, which you normally get otherwise. Sorry, excuse my French, but being a pastry chef, you know, I've got some very high standards.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So. I'm so jealous. Does anybody else want to take, you know, we've got 10 minutes left to share us their real estate story, their highs. Did anybody have some lows this week that you want to share that maybe we can learn from? Lord knows, you know, we're back now to doing offers with conditions in them. We did a home inspection yesterday where the tenants, you know, weren't too happy that we were there. And I'm looking at Nick, the agent on my team, and I'm saying, welcome to real estate. You know, as we're standing out there going, okay, well, okay, now we're fighting with the tenants to get in. But yeah, anybody else? Lots of people here. Now, guys,
there's Keith.
Win a one-on-one.
All right, we've
got. I'm gonna unmute here.
Keith Goldman.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Hi, Keith.
So this is not so much of a low, but it's also a lesson in that not every listing that you go after is for you to have. I'll tell you a quick story. So there was a gentleman, he called me out of the blue. He knew a friend of mine and he said he wanted to list his home in Brampton. So I told him, yeah, sure, why not? And we started to talk about, you know, what do you think your home was worth? And he thought his home was worth 2.1. And this was before the shift in the market. And I said, well, you know, you seem a little bit high, but you know, you're the seller, so let's go along with what you say. 2 days later, he calls me and he said he doesn't want to have the meeting anymore, the listing presentation meeting. So I said, what happened since yesterday to today? And he couldn't explain. Anyway, he went with another agent, and the home was on the market for about 30 days. I did feel a little bit down because I was like, this should have been my listing. And lo and behold, they had to relist 2 times, and he ended up getting 1.8. And it's not that it didn't sell or anything like that, but it would, you can imagine the aggravation that I would have had to put up with.
Yeah.
You know, running after the market with him and seeing, you know, what price reductions, and he seemed to be a very hard client to get along with. So I said, you know what? And during that time, I used that time to have 2 more listings. So in a way, sometimes when you're faced with a negative situation, just come from a area of abundance, not scarcity.
Right.
And it, you know, like, yeah, you lose that one, but guess what? You gain 2 more. So that's the lesson I learned on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny that you say that. I had a somewhat similar. I went on a listing appointment in a farm area that I'd worked really hard on for the last 3 years, to the point where this lady goes to Florida over the winter. So as the market here, this was in Whitby, in January and March, or February, it just went really crazy where, well, we all know, right? Where it was 500 over asking, 300 over asking. It's ridiculous. So I was texting her while she was in Florida, you know, hey, so-and-so, I just letting you know, I know you're away, but I promised I'd keep you updated. This is what's going on. And she always wanted a high number for her house, way higher than what the market would sustain when I was in there giving her price. But now I'm like, holy smoke, she just might get that number. So I texted her. Her and her boyfriend of, I don't know, 12 years called me from Florida, did a conference call. You know, Tara, is it really like that? I started sending her some properties. I'm like, go back, check your email. You're going to see what your neighbors are getting. And she couldn't believe it. But I found during that phone call that he certainly felt he knew more about real estate than me. As you know, I say this all the time. If you guys ever had my book, everybody knows more than we do, right? Parents know more, siblings know more, you know, everybody thinks they're a realtor. So then she gets home, she texts me and says, come on over and give me a price. My boyfriend's going to be here as well. And so I go. And I'm very happy to see them again. I give them a price, and he sits at the table with me and he says, I don't want to look at the comps. This is what we want. We want 1.8. I felt they could get probably 1.4. But the problem is, you know, they were 8 weeks in Florida. So now this is April. Market started to shift already. They knew that. And then he proceeded to say that he's been in sales for the last 20 years, don't you know? And he thinks that realtors make too much money. And I said, well, that's your thought. I'm a very hardworking realtor. Didn't matter what I say, cut me off. Then he said, bottom line is, how cheap are you going to go? I gave him my commission and I said, that's the lowest. This is what I charge. You're no different than anybody else. He said to me, take out your calculator and you do the math. I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, I'm just saying, calculate the number. So I did it at 1.7. I calculated the percentage and I don't know what it was, like 100-something thousand or 97,000. And he looked at his girlfriend, who was my farm area lady, and said, I told you they make too much money. And then he ranted and raved for 20 minutes about how we basically are robbing people blind. And I'm sitting for the first time in my career and I'm going, it wouldn't matter if I was living in a tent at the KOA campground. I am not doing business with you. So I grabbed my files and I said, I'm going to call it a day because clearly, you know, I'm not the realtor for you, which took everything I had. For the people that know me, my business, my boys, I mean, if that was everything I had. At the time, his girlfriend said, Tara, please don't leave the table. And she said to him, would you lay off on her? That's what the fee is. We're going to have to pay it whether we use her or not. And he started ranting and raving again. Well, wouldn't it be nice if I could work for 2 hours and make $97,000? And I'm trying to explain that I don't even get that much. I pay 2.5 to the cooperating broker. Anyways, it didn't matter. So he went on again, and I looked at him and I said, Scott, what I'm hearing from you is that you wish you had been a realtor these last 20 years. Grabbed my files and I said, I wish you both the best of luck. I don't want to work with you. And I left. Well, let me tell you something. He listed with a very well-known agent in my area. She called me and she explained to me, we're listing with so-and-so. I was like, that's fine. That's no problem. No problem. And I said, did he get the discount he wanted? And she goes, and then some. That property was on the market for 65 days. They started at 1.3, held offers, didn't get offers. Then they upped it to 1.6. Then they terminated it, listed it at 1.5. It sold for 1.4. And I thought to myself, I've never been so happy to not work with somebody in my entire life, because it sold for exactly what I told them, you know? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. Hardest thing I had to do, hardest thing was to pack up those files and say, I'm not working for you. Yeah. Oh,
I think it makes sense sometimes. I had a similar experience with one of my very good childhood friends. And he called me, he said, Zig, I want to put my home on the market. I said, sure. So he comes to me, he's, how much you going to charge me? I said, charge me whatever you want. You know, you're my friend. He said, no, really. And he wanted to pay me 0.5%. I said, you're going to be 2.5 anyway on the other side. But hold on a second. You want to buy in Niagara Falls, they pay only 2% commission. So how does it matter what I make? If this is a fee. Well, his house is listed now with 4 square purple bricks. So it's on the market for 35 days or 40 days right now. And I'm saying to myself, thank God I don't have that listing. Thank God I don't have to drive them around. Yeah. Thank God I don't have to do these things, because you know what? When you're friends, sometimes they take you for granted. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to put up with this BS. Sorry. You can go list with somebody else. You want to be a friend? Sure. But I'm not doing business with you. Sorry.
Yeah. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So we just got to hang in there. And that's why we're doing these sessions is, you know, the converting the leads, these buyer leads, they have houses to sell. I'm living proof of it. Most of my listings, aside from my past clients in my sphere, are all from Agent Locator, the buyer leads. And don't be afraid to set your boundaries and understand some people you'll never make happy. And don't let that define who you are as a realtor, because we deserve to be paid, period. And sometimes the hardest people to work with are our family and friends. Not going to lie to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because they're always expecting more for less.
It brings out a very bad side of people sometimes. But yeah. I am so honored. This was so much fun. Did you guys grow together? Did you see what I'm trying to create here, Crystal and I?
Yeah. It's great to see everyone, you know, contribute, because it also gives others the affirmation. Oh, okay, I'm not sideways thinking right now. Other people feel the same way, or are experiencing or doing this for the same reasons, right? So, and I think when we start to understand that, you know, those whys a little bit more, or the importance of our family and our times, it's easier to open up to other agents to help, whether you need to help them or have them help you. As long as you understand those stories, it just makes it so much easier, and you're more willing to, because sometimes you may have been in that similar situation. Maybe your kids are now grown up and you don't need, you know, all the flexibility that you needed to have before. You can just work, but you might have, you know, a mom at the office that you know has 2 young kids, right? And you know firsthand what the struggle was, right? So it's,
Yeah.
you know, you start to look at, you know, things a little bit differently, or maybe offer time a little bit differently to them, because you know they're encountering struggles that you likely had in your past as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Thank you
Perfect.
for attending
Awesome.
and inviting me to
Awesome.
this. We're going to talk a lot more next sessions about the drip campaigns. I do believe all of you can create drips. And I think next time I want you to tell me where your hardest part is when you're putting the emails together, and let's conquer that, because the key to conversion is consistency, and the consistency happens with the drips, right? So
Yes, absolutely. So Tara, how do you want to do the draw? Did you want to do it so that it's for next session, or do you want to, you know, how do you want to do the draw? Do you want me to email you the names?
Or take the names? Let's put the names of the people that did come on board, and then we'll do old school, draw them in a hat, or whatever you want to do that week. And
Perfect.
then guys, one of you will get a free one-on-one hour coaching session with me, and I'll contact you as long as you guys are okay with Agent Locator providing me maybe with your cell phone number where we can reach out to you. Or if you want Austin to do that, Austin, or if you're still here, always revert back to the sun. Do you want to quickly put these people in? Sorry. Making dinner tonight too. Do you want to put them in? Do you want to draw, honey? Sorry, honey. Oh.
Okay.
And then the ones that are attended, are you okay with Agent Locator providing us with your cell phone? Okay, thank you. All right, so Austin will give us the winner. Take your time, Austin. Just kidding. Oh my God, honestly, you should see me at home. I swear to God, I think I'm quite funny.
I could actually got this neat thing. We can see if it works. Hold on, I'm just doing it on my other screen.
I have the wheel that I used, which is pretty.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
This thing right here. Oh, I can't share. I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on.
I can sing for you all if you want.
There. Here. I did a practice ring, so let's just try this again. Can I refresh it? Do I have to put all the names in? Okay.
Okay.
Can you guys see it?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. So then we can just spin it, and then whoever wins. That's everyone there, right? We got Lucy, Nikki, Ziegler, Priyanka, and Keith.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. All righty.
And now it's spin to win, we call this.
And I went on Nikki again anyway.
Looks like Nikki's our winner. Congratulations.
There you go.
I've never won anything. Thank you so much. You made my day.
We need a full-on video of you accepting your award next session.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh boy, oh boy.
We'll get your contact
No problem.
from Crystal if you don't mind, and then Austin will reach out to you, and we'll do. Where are you located, Nikki?
I'm in Brampton, Ontario, Toronto.
Yep. Okay. So we can do it over Zoom, or we can meet halfway if you want to do actually in person. It's all good.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Thank you all. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And if I'm just going to put in the chat as well for anyone else that might be interested, Tara's website. So you can kind of look to see what that's about and what type of coaching she does offer, and what that all entails.
All right.
Put that in there for you. Thank you, everyone. It was a great session today. We'll see you all in a couple weeks.
Thank you, Crystal.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Tara.
Everybody.
Bye.